This is part two of the video on the our view of the All-Star weekend and the recent trade deadlines. We finished up with the trade for Jaren Jackson to the Utah Jazz, along with the three picks that the Memphis Grizzlies got back. Good trade for the Jazz. I think the Jazz, once they get Weckler Kelsa back, they're going to be very good, very more formidable. Two of the top shot blockers in the league on the same front line, along with Lauri Markkanen and Keontae George, Isaiah Collier, and AJ Bailey, young AJ Bailey. I think that's going to be a very good team, and a team still with their own draft capital. Going to be a very good team in the future. Great job by Danny Ainge for the Jazz. You made a great point, Josh, about John Morant. Why don't you touch on that real quick?
There's a lot of speculation going on that John Morant would be shipped off first out of Memphis and ended up being Jaren Jackson Jr. who got shipped out of Memphis. So, that just shows like there's probably a bigger market for Jaren Jackson Jr. right now than John Morant.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I think John Morant will probably end up being traded to the Heat in the offseason, and he'll start over there. And I think, it'll be a good move for the Heat. I don't know if it'll win them a title, but they need a point guard, a starting caliber point guard. Davion Mitchell is a solid point guard, but to me, he's a backup. He doesn't score enough to me to be a starting point guard, but very good fill-in. All right, let's go to the February 4th date. The Knicks traded Gershon Yabusele for Dalen Terry. They later flipped that pick, that David Terry acquisition, and 2 second-round draft picks to the New Orleans Pelicans to get Jose Alvarado. Alvarado has been phenomenal to me. He's been very good as a backup point guard. 2 out of the 3 games he's played, he's been impactful, from the blowout win against the Celtics, where he had like 12 points, 4 steals. He was doing his famous sneak up behind, poke away steal. He's just terror on defense and feisty, to his game in Philly, where the Knicks gave Philly one of the largest blowout losses in our franchise history, and theirs. Biggest deficit they've ever lost by. One of our biggest blowout wins by a Philly team ever. So, and he was phenomenal in that game. 26 points, 8 3-pointers, 4 steals, something like that. He dominated, man. A couple of assists all over the court. Was feisty in the face of the players. He was phenomenal, man. So what do you think about the Jose Alvarado acquisition for the Knicks?
I think it was good for the Knicks. I think, getting Jose Alvarado, like you said, his hustle, his feistiness, just his, like you said, his stealing, his sneaky steals. Also his shooting is pretty good. So I feel like overall it was a good acquisition for the Knicks to get a good backup for the Knicks. And you could already see that he's someone that's gonna fit into the culture, to the locker room. He's gonna get along with Jalen. He's already trying to fit into the team and fit into what Mike Brown has going on inside the offense and and the defense. So I think it was a great acquisition for the Knicks.
And then, because of that trade, they're able to free up money so that they could sign another player that would get, in a round of cuts that came up after that. One of those players was Jeremy Sochan from San Antonio Spurs, a player the Knicks have wanted for a long time. I love Jeremy Sochan. Very good defensive player, a player that can pass, has had big scoring games in the NBA. He can play point forward, tenacious defender, is tall, lanky. Um, a phenomenal signing to get him with like what was the mid-level exception they just
Mm.
I mean is phenomenal, phenomenal, great for with OG now being out maybe potentially 3 weeks with if you subtract what he's going to be out with the All-Star break, let's say 2 weeks. I think Sokrin will be a great backup. I think Diawara is still going to get the large pool of minutes off the bench, but think Sokrin is another body you can bring up, guy who can handle the basketball. So they get another person to handle the basketball, but this time at the wing position, which is very smart and genius by Leon. We throw different lineups, different looks. I heard some people say you could throw him at Cade. I mean, we'll see, but I think it's an idea, but we'll see. We'll see. Right now, that bench is looking like, at full, at the Knicks at full strength, you're looking at Jose, you're looking at JC, Jordan Clarkson, you're looking at Diawara, Mitch, and I think that's it. Because I think for now, Hart is still in the starting lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hart's going to probably remain there. And then when he comes back, Deuce will be on that bench.
Yeah.
So that's a phenomenal defensive bench, man. And guys that can shoot the ball, guys that can handle the ball, guys that can play defense at a high level. Very smart, very smart, very smart moves by Leon. Ancillary moves, I think, was very good, man. So, bravo for Leon and his crew on another great off season for us, for this team, man. I would, I think, of the off season, the trade off season, I think that the team that I give an F to would be the Chicago Bulls. All of their trades, they got nothing but guards, man. They got Anthony Simons, they got uh, Michael Conley Jr., they got Jaden Ivey. It's like, and they already have a point guard in Josh Giddey. It made no sense to me, man. I mean, they by far probably had the worst off season of any of these guys, man.
Yeah.
To me that I saw, man.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as the best, I think you could put the Knicks in there at a small level, just keeping their core together and building around it. I think Cleveland made the splashiest move, getting James Harden for Darius Garland and a couple of picks. I think for me, it's a great move for both teams. I think that. Yeah, I think it's a great move for both teams. I'll say it for this reason: James Harden is a winner. I think James Harden, regular season winner. I think in the playoffs, it depends on the teams he's on, but he hasn't had the best success. But I do think you can win with James Harden. And I think they get a point guard that can score more. They get a future Hall of Famer. So I think it was a great move for Cleveland. Will they win a title from it? I don't know. James Harden is a turnstile on defense. So can Jalen be at times, but Jalen's younger. James Harden's a little bit more longer in the tooth. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I think they probably had one of the best moves of the offseason that I've seen. And another sneaky one that I liked, I'll just focus on two trades that I liked. The Celtics had their move. They traded, and give me 1 second, guys. Yeah. They were able to get Vucevic, former star center, from the league. They were able to get him give me 1 second. For Anthony Simons. That was the Anthony Simons trade I said earlier. Vucevic, I think, will be good for the Celtics. Again, he's like James Harden, another turnstile on defense, but you can get a guy that can give you 20 points, 10 rebounds, and can pass the ball pretty good. Celtics have been needing a point guard, a center forever. They've had an old Al Horford and a beaten up power forward at Kristaps Porzingis trying to fill in for that role for many years. It doesn't work. So I think it'll be good for them. Bro. What do you think about the Vucevic move for the Celtics?
I think it was a good move for the Celtics. They ended up being the center, like you said, that they needed. And they ended up just giving away Anthony Simons, who was having a solid season but wasn't someone they necessarily needed to hold on to. So
Right.
yeah, I think getting Vucevic definitely was an upgrade for them in the roster. So yeah, it
Yeah.
was a good move for them.
Yeah, man. I think so. So again, Celtics, I think Cleveland had one of the best moves. I think Vucevic was a solid move. I think, yeah, I'd say in that order. The what do you think about the Washington Wizards trade? Anthony Davis, and some backup guys, D'Angelo Russell, just ancillary pieces to the Mavericks for. Let me just get back to this. It is for here we go for Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson, Malik Brookham, and Marvin Bagley Jr. the third. And this is really what the trade was about: 2 first-round picks, one protected, and then three second-round picks. So 2 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks, and a bunch of aging players they're probably going to get rid of anyways for the 3 picks for Anthony Davis, essentially. What do you think about that trade? I'll just say this quickly. It stamps that the Luka for Anthony Davis trade was probably one of the worst in NBA history. Just a horrible trade at the time.
Yeah.
Made no sense. They traded a young superstar franchise guy for an aging older player that was injury laden. It made absolutely no. And they tried to sell it with, oh, we're gonna have he's a top 10 play, top 70 player all time, and it's like, no, not at this point in his career. Especially the amount of injuries he had was horrible. But what do you think about that trade, bro? And what does it do to set up the Washington Wizards now? We talked about in part one how they got Trae Young. Now they're gonna have Anthony Davis. So next year, when those two play together, that team's gonna be pretty good with the young nucleus they have, George there and some of those other players that they got there.
Yeah.
They're gonna be pretty good, man.
Yeah, I think
Keyshawn George. Yeah.
Yeah, that sets up the Washington Wizards good. I think pairing Trae Young with like a good defensive center like Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Or well, he'd be playing power forward. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, pairing them together, that have a good makeup on defense to help cover the like laps that Trae Young has on defense. So I think also Anthony Davis is like a good lob threat for Trae Young. To throw lobs too.
Don't forget Sarr. They got Alex Sarr.
And Alex Sarr as well.
Can you imagine Sarr and AD? Again, we talked about Jaren Jackson and Kessler being one of the top defensive front courts in the league. The Wizards are going to have Sarr and Davis, two of the top shot blockers again in the league. So with a solid point guard to get them the ball, got the front court guys that can score, so and play defense. So that's good. That Washington Wizards, I think. You know what? Let me make an addendum to that. I'm gonna change what I said. No. I'll keep it this. I'll keep it in this order. I think Cleveland won the offseason. Right behind them, I would put the Washington Wizards. I think the Wizards, with the young talent they still have, and getting a healthy Trae Young and Anthony Davis next year in Washington are going to be a very good team. Alex Sarr, Keyshawn George. They didn't even give Keyshawn George up in the trade for Davis. So very good offseason by the Washington Wizards, man. And then second, maybe Boston. I think the Knicks won in their own right because we picked up Jeremy Shokin and Jose Alvarado and only gave up Gershon Yabusele, essentially, and a couple of second-round picks. I think they shored up their backup point guard, which is what they needed, and a guy that can fill in a pinch at center. He's that big. I heard somebody say that